Marv Albert with Sam White. The Jets and Jaguars tied at 14. Back in week 3 in Miami, the Jets had a 14-0 lead on the Dolphins. They reeled off 33 unanswered points and came up with the victory. They led here 14-3, but the Jaguars getting right back into it as we check out the Coors Light halftime statistics. Well, this time the stats are all in the favor of the Jaguar opposition, and the Jets have had their way statistically, but the game is tied at 14. In recent weeks for the Jaguars, the stats have been pretty, but they have not been able to fare well. That's certainly the case last week against New Orleans. Here's the kickoff by Hollis, and the return by Henry Bailey. Nice moves by Bailey working across the 25-yard line. Travis Davis on the stop. And Frank Reich making his way back out of the field. His backup quarterback today is Glenn Foley, and the third quarterback is John Pasey. See the stat line, Reich 13 of 22, 141 yards, but picked off twice. And Brunell 7 of 13, 115 yards, but it has not been the usual solid day for Brunell, who is among the leaders in all departments. His statistics helped by the 61-yard bomb for Jimmy Smith. Again, it is Wayne Corbett. That is his 8th catch of the day. A penalty marker is down. Abe Thomas making the stop on Corbett. Look at that. First half, 7 catches, 85 yards, including a touchdown.
Personal foul, number 51, hitting out of bounds, unnecessary roughness, first down.
It's Kevin Hardy making a rookie mistake.
15 yards, first down.
To Corbett, up the sideline. He's out of bounds, clearly out of bounds, and here comes the late hit. Now that really not a vicious hit, certainly would have hurt anybody, but they're protecting that sideline. Wayne Corbett, 7 catches in the first half, first pass completed in the second half, right back to him.
And a first down at the Jacksonville 45-yard line. Here's Morrell, not able to get going. Neither team getting it done on the ground. Eddie Robinson and Kevin Hardy converging on Morrell. First half, Morrell 12 carries, 35 yards, averaging under 3 yards per carry, while James Stewart of the Jaguars with 7 carries, 35 yards, but really not doing it until a 20-yard pickup late in the half.
And the measure there is about 4 yards. If you're averaging 4 yards, you're having a good day or a good season. 2.9 yards in the first half from Morrell's not good.
Second down and 10. Third quarter just underway. And here's Wright. And overthrows, had it up high as he was trying to connect with Corbett, who was covered by Hudson.
You get to where you know certain people are going to be at the right place. Here's Wayne Corbett coming up the field. He's going to break back to the outside. Everything's cleared out. They ran this a couple of times in the first half, just overthrown. We were talking at halftime that he reminds me of a player that I coached in San Francisco named Dwight Clark. Dwight Clark actually might have caught that one, though. He was 6'4". Wayne Corbett, 5'11".
When you say reminds you of Dwight Clark,
always got open. Just found the open hole, and the quarterbacks knew he would.
All right, Wright seeing the opening. And then he's hit down inside the 40 by Kevin Hardy. Frank Reich saw all the receivers were covered and then looked downfield, and he is shaken up. Frank Reich bothered by a tender ankle coming in. He was injured in last week's game after taking over for Neil O'Donnell. I mentioned a moment ago, the backup is the third-year player out of Boston College, Glenn Foley. And the third quarterback is John Pasey, up from the practice squad.
You notice right before the contact there, Frank Reich slowed down, turned his shoulder where he took the blow. That's why they have the conceding of the tackle. All he had to do was go down, concede the tackle, and he could not be hit. Glenn Foley played at Boston College for Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, there is John Pasey, a rookie from Indiana, signed with the Jets as a free agent. He's the third quarterback. Played for Barcelona in the World League, a local Long Island product from Huntington. Was 30 minutes away from the Jet training complex at Hofstra. And Pasey had a pretty good preseason and was put on the practice squad and now listed as the third QB with the injury suffered by Neil O'Donnell.
And in training camp, you try to keep your eye on somebody that you know you're going to have to release, but he's had some experience in your system. And you know where he is, and if you have an injury, you go get him. Right now, we're going to see Glenn Foley.
All right, Glenn Foley, who's made it back from shoulder surgery, making his first appearance of the season, saw the first significant action of his NFL career in Game 10 last year against New England. Played well, looked good, but on the last play from scrimmage, he dislocated his shoulder out of the shotgun and looking to put it up and couldn't find anyone, and then nearly picked off. Kevin Hardy got a piece of it. The pass intended for Fred Baxter.
Third down play. Rich Kotite has certainly seen a lot of that, having to come in with a substitute because of an injury to his starter.
Makers of the new Jeep Grand Cherokee, Cherokee, and Wrangler. By Pizza Hut, you'll love the stuff we're made of. By the Principal Financial Group, for over a century, your edge in retirement, insurance, and investment products. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who remind you fresh beer tastes better.
Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars take over on down. James Stewart gets the call. Getting back to that last play for the Jets, a 4th down and 2. And Foley comes in as the new quarterback with Frank Reich hurt. Had the wind knocked out, we're told, and will return. But what do you think? Do you go out of the shotgun? And
well, I disagree with Rich Kotite on that one. If you had your regular quarterback, maybe you take your shot right there. But he went to his weakness there. You had a quarterback that hadn't been in the ballgame, inexperienced on 4th down. And in the shotgun, put the pressure on him. Punt the ball down there, back him up, let him work out of the end zone.
It is a 2nd down and 5. Brunell couldn't find anyone. And Brunell being chased by Hamilton. Brunell throws deep downfield. Amazing that he was able to get that off. Bobby Hamilton was all over him. Pass intended for McCardell.
I'm actually surprised, Marv, that there wasn't a penalty on Bobby Hamilton. He took a good 2 full strides and tackled Mark Brunell after the throw. Now, he didn't hit him hard. He just fell across him, but there was no need to make the tackle. The ball was cleanly gone. Here you see it right here. This is Bobby Hamilton chasing Mark Brunell back behind the line. 1.5 steps, maybe not 2 steps.
Bobby Hamilton, another player promoted from the practice squad. It's only his 2nd NFL start in his first year out of Southern Mississippi, playing in the World League this past season. And a timeout is called by the Jaguars, who on this series of downs have gone to Dave Wydell at center, replacing the rookie Michael Cheever, who again had some problems in the first half with the snap.
Yes, it wasn't a timeout.
Oh, a delay of game is called.
And I am with Tom Coughlin on this one. That was awfully fast. It's sometimes the clock starts either early or on occasion. I've seen actually hit a 25-second clock. I didn't notice that time, but boy, it sure did not seem like there was undue delay getting to the line of scrimmage and delay a game called.
11th penalty, 86 yards assessed on the Jaguars, who lead the NFL in penalties. 3rd down and 10 back at the 37-yard line. And Brunell's pass is caught by the tight end, Pete Mitchell. A lot of young on the stump. It is a 1st down, a pickup of 17. The Jets very concerned about Pete Mitchell. They say they've been hurt by tight ends right throughout the season.
Pete Mitchell lined up on the left. Just an inside route back to the right side. And talking to Rich Kotite last night, he was talking about the tight ends. He mentioned Pete Mitchell's name. He didn't mention Derek Brown in terms of having to stop the pass.
Well, Mitchell with 41 catches last season in his 2nd year out of Boston College, back to the run. Natron Means handling for the 2nd time this afternoon. Marvin Washington and Mo Lewis able to make the stop. 4 minutes gone by in the 3rd quarter. The Jets and the Jaguars are tied at 14. Jets at 1 point led 14-3. Jets come in at 0-6 going back to last season. They have dropped 10 in a row, which is a franchise record. Jacksonville at 2-4 began the year in very promising fashion with a win over Pittsburgh, but they come off a bad loss to New Orleans last Sunday at the Dome. Here's Brunell, couldn't find anyone, pulling away and diving, but coming up short of a first down, covered up by Rick Hamilton, and a penalty marker is down.
Holding right in the middle of the line. I don't know if this is Dave Wydell or not. Let's see.
Holding, number 73 of the offense, 10 yards. Repeat, second down.
That's against Brian DeMarco, the right guard, but Dave Wydell is very slow getting back to that huddle. You can tell his knee is bothering him. This is Dave Wydell right here. During the snap, during the action, he's playing hard. But watching him between plays, going back and forth to the huddle and coming out of the huddle, he's been very careful with that knee.
Well, he has made a quick return from arthroscopic knee surgery. Second down and 11. And the soft pass is handled, but Cardell breaking a tackle, getting inside the 40, and then taken down by Lewis. Mo Lewis with the stop on Keenan McCardell. It's good for 17, and McCardell with his second reception of the game.
Keenan McCardell, who led the Cleveland Browns a year ago in receptions, has been one of the primary receivers for Mark Brunell all season long.
He was Keenan McCardell last year, and now has changed the pronunciation. He told us yesterday that his dad actually wrote a letter to the Jaguars PR director, Dan Edwards, to tell him of the correct pronunciation, McCardell. The fly pattern, Willie Jackson, who has speed, putting it on against Carl Greenwood, but that pass overthrown. So it is a fourth down and 2, and the punting unit comes on. Brian Barker back at his 45, and Wayne Corbett in single safety back at the 10.
Similar situation that the Jets had just a few moments ago, almost the same fourth down distance. This time Jacksonville chooses to punt and puts it out on about the 4-yard.
Wow, beautifully done by Brian Barker. A one-time Kansas City Chief and Philadelphia Eagle. That's a 34-yard punt, and it pins the Jets back. Really wanted to play today against his former team, out with a sprained left knee. He's now missed the last 4 games. Opened up with a very strong performance against Pittsburgh. 2 sacks, and another former Jet. He's the Jaguars radio color man, Matt Robinson. 9th round pick of the Jets back in 1977. Spent 3 years with the team, eventually traded to the Denver Broncos. So the Jets starting from their 3, and Richie Anderson provides some running room. Mickey Washington, Kevin Hardy making the stop. Right here, let's check in with Greg Gumbel for this update.
All right, Marv, at Pittsburgh, Mike Tomczak and Cordell Stewart make a big play from 32 yards out. Tomczak, the Stewart, adjusts his helmet, untouched, into the end zone. Pittsburgh with the lead on Cincinnati, while the defense is doing the job on the Bengals. 10-3 is the score in the third, Marv.
All right, Greg, yes, the Steelers have come a long way since that opening day loss here in Jacksonville. Morrell stopped by Hudson. Picked up 2. It's a 3rd down and 2 at the 12-yard line.
Jacksonville chose to punt the ball, pinning the Jets back to the 4-yard line, and the Jets are just trying to punch their way out. Get that first down before they run the risk of a turnover, putting the ball in the air. Conservative right now with the score all tied. I think the Jets should have punted the exact same way when they had their opportunity in the last series.
That's Baxter in motion. Morrell again held in check. This time Ernie Logan, backup defensive lineman, on the stop, and that will bring on Brian Hansen, and the Jets forced to punt. 8 minutes to go in this third quarter. The game is tied at 14, and Hansen from his end zone. He's another very fine season. Hansen with the good boot. Chris Hudson on the return. And good coverage by the Jets. A 44-yard punt and a 7-yard return. Henry Bailey able to make the stop on Chris Hudson. We'll be back to Jacksonville in a moment. Coming up next here on NBC Sports, it's the Yankees and the Orioles from Camden Yards. 21-game winner Andy Pettitte, Scott Erickson. Yanks up 3-1. Orioles looking to extend the series. Yankees gunning for their first American League pennant in 15 years. Jacksonville back to the offense. Brunell couldn't find anyone, and then he does. James Stewart stopped by Rick Hamilton. A lot of movement on the part of Mark Brunell. That's good for 8 yards. Mark Brunell was telling us yesterday that he will not forget last year's game against the Jets. It was game 3 of last season. As you watch the decision making of Brunell, it was Brunell's first NFL start. It was on his 25th birthday, and he said he had a very bad game. He'd like to make up for that here today. The Jets beating Jacksonville 27-10. Second down and about 3. Natron Means. Mike Chalensky, the right defensive end, who's starting for the injured Hugh Douglas, making the tackle.
The second half has been an entirely different ball game for the Jacksonville Jaguars than we saw. They're finishing their blocks. That last play, not this run, but the last pass play that Mark Brunell completed, he went to about his 4th choice as a receiver. Had time to do it. In the first half, he wasn't getting that time. It's going to be interesting here, though. If they don't make the first down, they're about the same position.
New York, they're first.
Position they were in their last series, and they punted the ball down to the 4-yard line. Let's see if they stay with the same strategy or go for it.
Well, the Jets have called for time. 6:28 to go. Third quarter of the game. Tied at 14. Jacksonville with Sam Weish, Marv Albert, Jetson. Jaguars tied at 14. 6:28 to go in the third quarter. Jackson in motion. And here's Mark Brunell to a wide open Jackson. Inside the 10, and he's in for a touchdown. Well, the man in motion, Willie Jackson, was able to beat Aaron Glenn and go 41 yards for the score.
Had to be a blown coverage. Nobody gets that wide open. Good down the field blocking, though. Touchdown blocks make long gains touchdowns, and that's what happened for Jacksonville right there. Blown coverage by the Jets.
Willie Jackson in his 3rd season out of Florida. He has the speed. Mike Hollis adding the extra point, and the Jaguars have taken a 21-14 lead over the Jets. They were down at one point, 14-3.
The Jets have been here before, had the early lead and then giving it up. Shotgun formation. Let it run. And we're going to see Willie Jackson just slide out here into the flat, and nobody drifts out in to cover him. One of these 2 defenders, and we won't know until Monday morning who blew that one, but the 2 defenders had 2 receivers, and they both jumped on the inside move. Nobody went outside with Willie Jackson, and then the run down the sideline almost unmolested for the touchdown. You know, that's sometimes when you get guys that wide open, the quarterback doesn't see it because he's not expecting. He's expecting the defense to cover all the bases. That time they didn't do it. Rich Kotite beside himself on the sideline.
18 unanswered points by the Jaguars. Henry Bailey, Ronald Moore are back for the kick from Hollis. 3 plays, 49 yards in a minute and 22. Good kick, Bailey. Out to the 10. 20, broken tackle, across the 30, and taken down at the 33-yard line. Ricky Bell on the tackle. We're set for another update. Let's check in with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Marv, at Buffalo, the Bills finally get on the board. Thurman Thomas from 19 yards out finds an opening and takes it the rest of the way. That cuts the Miami Dolphins lead in half. They're in the fourth quarter now. It's the Dolphins 14 and the Bills 7, Marv.
Well, Miami Dolphins coming off the loss in the rain at home last week to the Seattle Seahawks. And looking to bounce back this afternoon. Frank Reich on first down. Able to connect with the rookie, Alex Van Dyke. Mickey Washington, the right corner, on the stop. And that is good for 9, just short of the first down, about a half-yard short. Just under 6 minutes remaining now in the third quarter, and the Jaguars with a 21-14 lead. Jim Vaccarella, the defensive coordinator slash linebackers coach for the New York Jets. Defensive unit, 29th overall in the NFL. As the first down is picked up by Richie Anderson. Free safety Chris Hudson on the stop.
And when your safeties are making the tackles, that's not good. That's been the problem for Jacksonville of late. Wide open hole right up the middle. Normally the flow starts, but you see the cutback. He really had an off tackle right, bent back behind the flow of the defense, got all the way to the safety before he had contact. Chris Hudson, 200 pounds, though, stopped in cold.
The Jets first down at midfield. Here's Wright. And he overthrew Crabette, who had several steps on Hudson.
You know, sometimes you just get to where you're going to a guy when he's not open. You've had so much success with him. Wayne Crabette catching 7 in the first half and the first one in the second half, just trying to get it back. That's a forced throw. One of the few that Frank Reich has made today.
Reich overall 15 for 26, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was picked off twice. Second down and 10. And Burrell on a draw, stopped by Yurkovich. John Yurkovich, the one-time Green Bay Packer, telling us yesterday that he feels if it's particularly warm today, it's about 74 degrees right now, so that is not particularly warm for Florida, but he thought if they could get the hot weather, it could wear down the Jets. Also said Jacksonville has done well against the run after having some trouble with big plays earlier in the season. They have contained the Jets on the ground. 3rd and 8 from the 47. Reich's pass broken up, intended for Baxter, is looking for an interference call on the strong safety Travis Davis.
You're not going to get an interference call if Travis Davis is there first. He's got as much right to that field as the receiver does. There was contact, but there was not any intentional contact by Travis Davis to alter the route or to interfere with a throw.
Brian Hansen punting for the 4th time, and Chris Hudson is back. Hudson let it go, and let's see what the call is here. Did he keep it out?
I think Brian Hansen did it.
He did. What a play down at the 1-yard line. Rick Hamilton with the hustle and was able to keep it out of the end zone. A 46-yard punt and a beauty thanks to the play by Hamilton. Hansen, the Jaguars start out at their 1-yard line, and Natron Means nearly was trapped in the end zone, which would have been a safety, but Bobby Hamilton on the stop. Let's take a look at that punt by Brian Hansen. It appeared at first glance that Rick Hamilton and Henry Bailey, who had first shot at it, number 85, may have kept it out, but apparently it just took a good hop on the part of the punter, Hansen.
Right, and both cover guys did a smart thing. They didn't carry the ball into the end zone. You see so much of that when they go down there and their momentum actually knocks the ball in the end zone as opposed to knocking it out. But Bailey and then Rick Hamilton really made sure it didn't roll. They didn't have to, though. There was enough backup on that one to stop it at the 1 yard line.
And there is a Jet player down. It's Matt Brock, the right defensive tackle. The Jet defensive unit has been hard hit by injury, particularly up front. Eric Howard is out. Mark Spindler is out. Hugh Douglas out. And now Matt Brock is hurt. 3:44 remaining. Third quarter. Jaguars 21, Jets 14.
As a spear, and that's what the rule, no spearing rule, is designed to do, to prevent injuries like that. Obviously, if you do it intentionally, you're going to get hurt. It's going to happen unintentionally, as it did there on occasion, though. It's a physical game.
All right, Matt Brock departs. We'll pass on a report as soon as we get it. And this is Jeff Faulkner, another addition to the Jet squad, who actually has not played in a game since 1993. In the past, he has spent time with Kansas City, Indianapolis, Phoenix, New Orleans, and Washington. Sounds like your NFL career, Sam.
I was in the same cities just before he was.
And he's been out of football the past 2 years. 7-year man from Southern. He's taken over at right defensive tackle. Second down and 10, and Wydell rifles one downfield and completes to Jimmy Smith, putting the speed on again against Ray Mickens. 42-yard pass play. Earlier they connected on a 61-yard bomb.
They're picking on Ray Mickens. He's a rookie. Straight drop back pass, no hesitation. And this is, again, a time throw. Even though the ball is thrown way down the field, the ball is thrown to a spot. The receiver's got to get to the spot. Mark actually got the clean release. He was tackled just after that. But you can tell that's a big play from the standpoint of the quarterback getting his team out of the hole.
5 catches, 135 yards for Smith. And this is Means with a short pickup. You know, Sam, since Dave Wydell came on at center for Michael Cheever after that bad snap, the Jacksonville offense has turned around. Obviously, a bit more comfortable with the snaps from Wydell.
Not only the snaps, but there's subtle things that go on. The offensive line make calls between themselves. There's a play called in the huddle. When they get to the line of scrimmage, the center makes calls among the linemen. Dave Wydell's much better at it. He's a veteran.
Second down and 5. Play action. And Brunell has it batted away. The loose ball is covered up, though. Covered up by Tony Vaselli, the left tackle, in a race with Bobby Hamilton.
Almost. That's the luck of the bounce right there. If the ball bounces just the right way, the Jets might have had a clean hop and run to the end zone. Good hit. And then Marv Washington in pursuit along with Tony Vaselli. Vaselli gets there just before him. The one thing that any offensive lineman like that wants to do when he recovers the ball, just hug the ball, get in that fetus position and protect the ball. Don't try to reach down and pick it up with your hands all taped.
23-yard loss. And the 4th sack of the day for the Jets. Play is whistled dead.
Again, they didn't get it off within the 40 seconds. Anytime.
Delay of game on the offense. 5 yards. It's still third down.
Boy, Jacksonville needs to discipline themselves. And anytime there's an unusual play, a long play, a scuffle after the play, you've got to get yourself, your inner clock working faster. Now they're working off of a 25-second clock. And I'll tell you what, Jerry Austin started that clock pretty darn quick on him right then.
Sam, what does a coach do in this situation? That's the 13th penalty, 101 yards assessed on Jacksonville. After all the conversation during the week upset about penalties last week, it has gotten even worse. Brunell able to avoid pressure and throws it away.
Well, the first thing you do is don't do what you did last week. Obviously, that didn't work. There's not a lot you can do at game time. That's a poise factor. Penalties, some of them are going to happen because you're aggressive, but the dumb ones that are the result of a lack of poise, going to sleep mentally, all you can do is stress it until your team matures to the point that they remind each other out there on the field. You can't really yell from the sideline.
Well, Mark Wydell telling us yesterday that we're not playing smart, we're making foolish mistakes, and it has continued. It is blocked by Crevette, usually sure-handed, but he is fortunate in that he's able to pick it up. 47-yard punt, and Crevette maintains possession. He was tackled by Pete Mitchell. So the Jets with a 1st and 10 from their 39-yard line with a minute to go in the third.
Just in front of Corbett right there. The Pete Mitchell coming down to cover the punt, relaxed just a little bit. He got bumped a little bit by one of the Jet players, and then he kind of relaxed. Had he come in there full speed, broke down, he might have recovered that one.
And now Corbett flanks to the right side. It's from their 39-yard line. Right. Nice catch by Van Dyke. Short of the first down. Covered by Washington. It's a 9-yard advance. Alex Van Dyke, who set the NCAA Division 1A record for receiving yards in a season last year, better than 1,800. Also led the nation with 129 receptions, a 2nd-round draft pick out of Nevada. And Van Dyke with his 4th catch of the day. 2nd and about 1.5 yards. 35 seconds left in the third quarter. And Morrell has the first down. Stopped by Don Davey, Joel Smengi, and there is Nick Lowry, who has had a very quiet day. He's gone through stretches where he has not had a field goal attempt. And his next field goal, he hit 2 last week against Oakland to make it 373 for his career. To tie Hall of Famer Jan Stenerud for most career field goals. His next will set the record. We'll put him all alone at the top of the field goal chart. Well, this third quarter has come to a close. The Jaguars by 7. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Back in Jacksonville. On to the fourth quarter. The word on Matt Brock. Pinched nerve in his neck, and his return is questionable. Right to the sideline on first down. Finds Corbett. Short pickup. Dave Thomas right there to make the stop. Well, the Jets at one point had a 14-3 lead. Looking sharp in the early going. A very sleepy start for the Jaguars defensively, but they've come roaring back with 18 unanswered, lead at 21-14, facing the Jets the possibility of going 0-7 and 11 straight losses dating back to last season. The 10 straight is a franchise record. Jacksonville trying to straighten things out, coming off the loss to the New Orleans Saints. Adrian Morrell with short yardage. Stopped by Clyde Simmons and Kevin Hardy. The Jaguars at 2 up and 4 down on the season. As we mentioned at the start, Sam, the overall statistics have been very impressive, but they have not been able to do it for the most part while in the red zone.
The red zone is a crucial part of the game for every team. You get down there a certain number of times during the course of any one ball game, and you need to come away with points. You're already, when you say red zone, you're saying you're within field goal range, wherever that is for your particular team.
Right now, the Jets are 3rd down and 5 at the Jacksonville 45. And Reich lofts it. A leaping catch is made by Anderson in front of Robinson, and he has a first down. Richie Anderson coming up with the ball and a pickup of 15 yards.
Looking a little bit like the R.C. Owens of the 49er days on the old alley-oop. Ball just thrown up high. Let the receiver run up and jump and make the catch. Not only has had a good catch, look, catches it with his hands, but he's got to hold the ball with his arms, unable to cradle the ball. Anderson, a good receiver out of the backfield.
And a first down at the Jacksonville 32. Play action, and Wright able to complete. And he has the tight end, Kyle Brady. Run out by Dana Hall. A big play for Brady for only his 2nd catch of the season. It's good for 25 yards.
Just a routine full extension catch. He's going to go up and to the corner. They clear out. This has been a combination they've used all during the day with different people. Full extension catches are tough, especially when you're running. Remember earlier in the game, we had a couple of examples where the receiver just kind of leaped for the ball and quit running. That time, Kyle Brady kept running, reached up, made the catch, looked up all the way in. Big play for him. Breakthrough play for him.
First and goal at the 7. Here is Morrell inside the 5-yard line. Yurkovich able to get the wraps on Adrian Morrell. It'll be a 2nd and goal down at the 3-yard line. The Jets are down by 7 with 12 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. And Nick Lowry loosening up. Says it's all in the stretching. Spends most of his week stretching himself. In fact, coaching staff allows him to go on his own program. 2nd and goal at the 3. Right off the roll, throwing, and it is dropped. A bullet for Brady, but he could not hold on. He was covered by backup linebacker Brant Boyer.
It's a straight rollout, ball thrown to Brady again. Hard. This ball is thrown with, it's not in the air very long, and he zips it in there. Brady turns around. I think he has enough time to find the ball, but he had to reach way out to make the catch. The Jets have been in the red zone 18 times coming into this game and have only scored 7 touchdowns. 3rd down.
It is a 3rd and goal at the 3. And Morrell is stopped. Ernie Logan with the tackle of Adrian Morrell, and here comes Nick Lowry seeking number 374 to pass by Jan Stenerud. It would bring the Jets within 4 points. Nick Lowry, that's his dad, Sidney. This is a 20-yard attempt. There it is. It is good, and Nick Lowry with number 374, the announcement on the public address, number 374 for his illustrious career, and he is now by himself, and here's the reaction from the crowd. Nick Lowry, a man who was cut 11 times by 8 different teams before actually beating out Jan Stenerud in 1980 for a job with the Kansas City Chiefs. The reaction of his dad, Sidney, on hand. His father was a U.S. Foreign Service official. In fact, Nick was born in Munich, Germany, and a large contingent on hand rooting for Nick, part of the Nick Lowry Charitable Foundation. Michelle Jackson's 5th grade class from Kissimmee, Florida, on hand with cooperation from Nick. These students have been taught to convert football statistics into basic arithmetic, a program called Math with Nick. Nick actually came to their attention after he was featured on a television show which told how he had personally overcome adversity and disappointment while being cut 11 times by 8 different teams before finally making it with Kansas City. And about 80 kids have come from Reed Creek Elementary School in Kissimmee, and they have seen a piece of NFL history. Nick Lowry, now number 1 in career field goals. Says he'd like to hit the 400 mark if that's possible.
I think he's capable of doing it.
And the return by Ricky Bell out to the 14-yard line. Check that. Willie Jackson on the return. Well, Jan Stenerud played for 3 teams during his 19-year NFL career: Kansas City, Green Bay, Minnesota. Jan Stenerud ended up having a good relationship with Nick Lowry. Said it was kind of tough at the start when he replaced him at Kansas City, but they talked quite often.
You know, Jan's in the Hall of Fame. We're looking right there at the next kicker to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
And this is James Stewart on first down, stopped by Marvin Washington. And lost a yard on the play. And Matt Brock back on the field, suffering that pinched nerve in his neck, but he's able to make his return. We have 10 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Jaguars with a 21-17 lead on the Jets.
It's a credit to Matt Brock and to the Jets. Sometimes little injuries like that when your team's not doing well get to be big injuries that you can't come back into the game. He's right back.
All right, here's Brunell. Firing downfield. Jimmy Smith again. Goes all the way. But a flag is down. .86 yards, but a penalty against Jacksonville. So they will bring it back.
Holding, number 73 of the offense, half the distance to the goal. Repeat, second down.
Well, the call on the right guard, Brian DeMarco. And for the Jaguars, their 14th penalty. It's cost them 111 yards. The franchise record, they were hit with 17 back on September 22nd against New England. This is number 14.
Now holding right up here in the corner. Hard to see it right there, but just enough holding to be called long before that ball was actually released against Ray Mickens, was the fellow that was victimized again. The rookie, they've been going after him all day. Very dejected after that, but most of the Jets going over telling him to get his head up. He's got to keep playing.
It is a second down and 18. Draw play for Stewart. And reaches out to the 18-yard line. Mickens and Green on the stop. Stewart running for 11 yards and now replaced by Means. Natron Means checks back in.
You know, when a guy is picked on like Ray Mickens has been attacked here today by Jacksonville, it's important that his teammates, he's on that field, he's going to play the next snap. His teammates have to come to his side. They're his only ally right now, and he has to know that they're still with him.
Now Jimmy Smith is flanked to the left at the bottom of your screen, and he's going deep again, but Brunell comes up with short range and finds McCardell, but he is shy of a first down. Gary Jones with the tackle. It was only a 5-yard pickup, and it brings on the punter, Brian Barker.
Almost a mistake. A lot of emotions down there. Little shoving, little words exchanged. That's when the cooler heads have to step up, calm everybody down. Tight ball game. You don't need the dumb mistake right now. Jacksonville has been victimized by it coming into this ball game.
All right, Corbett is back. Had a problem. His last return, muffed it but recovered. Able to break the tackle this time and hold on as he's down to the 31. 48-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Ryan DeMarco's called for that holding penalty just a moment ago to wipe out the touchdown.
Is brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. By Norelco Razor, for our closest shave ever. And by DirecTV, satellite TV at its best.
Back at Municipal Stadium in Jacksonville. Jaguars with a 21-17 lead on the Jets, and another penalty has been
right at the end of the last play, unsportsmanlike contact, and I missed who it was, but one of the Jacksonville players threw the football at the end of the play, just threw the ball at one of the Jet players. There was really no flag thrown at that point. It looked like the referees talked about it for a while before they made the call.
And that is penalty number 15 on the Jaguars. And could be a critical call. The Jets now first down at the 47. Right through the hands of Corbett, and that's rare for Corbett not to hold on. It'll be a 2nd and 10 at the 47. Let's check in right here with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Marv, in Pittsburgh, the Steelers have had an answer for everything that the Bengals have tried. There's the hit by Levon Kirkland on Jeff Blake. Rod Woodson picks it up and goes 41 yards for the touchdown with the extra point. The Steelers in charge now, 20-3, 2 minutes to play in Pittsburgh, Marv.
All right, thank you, Greg. Here, fans still booing that last penalty against Jacksonville. 2nd down and 10. Here's Anderson, stopped in his tracks. Stopped by Joel Smengi. Yurkovich also involved with Smengi. We're coming up on 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. 3rd down and 10 at the 47.
Penalties have just plagued the Jacksonville ball club here. You can almost directly point to a couple of their losses as a result of what Mark Brunell said was just careless and stupid play in some of the penalties.
Right from the shotgun. Gets the protection and completes for the first down across the 40. Wayne Crabett with his 10th catch of the game. Mickey Washington made the stop. Career high for Crabett. That's good for 14 yards on his 10th reception.
You notice just before he broke to the outside, Wayne Crabett looked back over his right shoulder to the inside. That froze the cover, Gary Jones, to the inside, thinking he might go right straight up the middle. A smart little small technique that got him open.
10 catches, 117 yards for Crabett, both single game career highs. Nice second effort by Richie Anderson on first down. Clyde Simmons, Tom McManus on the stop.
You know, so much of the time, the defender really doesn't know what he sees. He couldn't come off the field and tell you that he saw Wayne Crabett look to the inside. But he senses those things, but they're happening fast. A good receiver studies what he does when he goes to the inside. He fakes that when he goes back to the outside.
How about Crabett? Now 38 catches for the season. And this, the Jets' 7th game. Again, Reich with the time. It is deflected and goes incomplete. Yurkovich getting a piece of it.
And they're timing his motion. Actually, I think Frank Reich is not getting his full drop right now. First time back in, his stride in his retreat probably isn't as long as it will be next week. But he had 2 tip passes in the first quarter. And now, on second down, he had another one. John Yurkovich just anticipating the throw, getting his hand up there in the right place.
Reich is 20 of 34, 228 yards. 3rd down and 8. And Reich completes to Crabett for the first down. Jaguars try to knock the ball out of the hands of Crabett. The play is ruled dead. Jaguars felt that they had caused the fumble, but it is a first down for the Jets at the Jaguar 26-yard line, and that's good for 12 more.
All day long, the Jets have used this combination. They clear out. You can see right back here, there's the cover, the clear by the widest receiver. There's a man in the flat. Sometimes it's a tight end, sometimes it's a running back. They've got different combinations of players, but the pattern has been the same all day, and they've done a good job of completing that pass.
Art Van Dyke to the left, Bailey to the right side. And Wright goes over the middle, a short-range pass for Anderson, covered up by McManus. 5.5 remaining, fourth quarter. Jaguars 21. And the Jets 17. The Jets have done it statistically today. 23 first downs. Jaguars only 9. Jacksonville has done it with big plays. It's similar to what took place earlier in the season against New England, although they lost that game in overtime at Foxborough. Jets now 2nd down and 7. Down at the Jacksonville 21-yard line. Out Crabett is flanked to the left. Top of your screen. Here's Morrell on a sweep. Able to cut inside. Gets inside the 20-yard line, met by Yurkovich and McManus.
And here comes that red zone statistic popping up again. Coming into this game, 18 times down here, only 7 touchdowns. The last time they were down here, just moments ago, they had to settle for the field goal. Very important play, 3rd and 5, with about 4.5 minutes to go in this ball game. The Jets will get the ball back again, even if they have to kick the field goal right here. And if they don't get a lot of yards, get close to that first down, that's probably what they'll do.
To the near side, incomplete. That was off the mark, intended for Crabett, covered by Washington.
Now New York tries to get within 1 point with a field goal by Nick Lowry. get the ball back. They should get at least one more possession, maybe two more possessions in this ball game with 4:17 left and all their timeouts. Excuse me, New York has 2 timeouts left. They used one earlier. Jacksonville has 3.
It is a 37-yard attempt. Lowry hit earlier from 20. This would bring the Jets within 1. A low snap, and the kick, no good. Hansen tried to save that snap, turned the ball around, and the kick was missed. 4:13 left in the 4th.
Brian Hansen actually feels the ball, gets it down. Good job by Hansen getting it down. Lowry came through the kick, but it didn't have a long enough look at it, pulled it to the left.
So the score remains Jaguars 21, Jets 17. Here's Stewart as the Jaguars start out of their 27-yard line. Mo Lewis, Rick Hamilton combined to make the tackle. We come up on 4 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter, and there is the deep snapper on Hudson. And now the Jets take a timeout. When we resume, 2nd and 9. Why the timeout by Rich Kotite?
I don't understand that one at all. There's 4 minutes left, 4:01 left. It's 2nd down and long. They're going to need both of those timeouts eventually. There's no question about that. But let Jacksonville run a couple of plays here and then start your timeouts inside 2 minutes.
Well, clock management has been a question with this team right throughout the season. McCardell stopped by Glenn, just short of the first down. There's Carl Greenwood, who on this series has come on at right corner for Ray Mickens, who has had a very rough afternoon.
Ray Mickens is a guy that right now feels awful because he had even a rougher afternoon than the stats are going to show. One of them got called back thanks to Brian DeMarco holding on a touchdown pass. Clock stopped here now just for the measurement. It's going to start. They're going to wind the clock and start it as soon as the ball is spotted for the 3rd and short. And see, if you called timeout a minute ago, by all rights, you should be calling timeout again right now. The clock is going to be set at 25 seconds, not 40, but they'll use all 25. 1 timeout left for the Jets.
3:46 and now counting. Remaining 4th quarter, Jaguars 21-17. They've come from behind. They were down 14-3 at one point in the 1st quarter. It is a 3rd and less than a yard. They line up tight. And a quarterback sneak for the 1st down.
That shorter distance, run no risk. Get the 1st down. The officials are going to spot that ball for you if you get any movement at all, and they did. They went on a quick count. They didn't let the Jets get set in there as the defensive line. Most of this ball game, they have been using a couple of initial calls. They weren't necessarily audibles, but a couple of comments prior to starting their snap count. That time they didn't. They went right to it. Ball was snapped.
And of significance, Dave Wydell has taken over at center for the rookie Michael Cheever, and since he came on, it has been a different story offensively. Natron Means stopped by Victor Green. Now down the road, Michael Cheever will be the starting center on this team. 2nd round pick. 2nd pick on the 2nd round by the Jaguars. Considered the best center in the draft, but the snap count is different. The snap velocity is different. And it led to problems last week. Wydell coming back from the knee injury and has done the job. Timeout taken by the Jets. James Stewart on a slant. Victor Green made the stop. Jets using their final timeout a moment ago. Jaguars have all 3 remaining. They have a 3rd down and 4 at the 44-yard line. The Jets, with that record of 0-6, 10 straight losses going back to last year. They had a 14-3 lead here in the early going. Jacksonville able to come from behind. However, the Jaguars on 2 occasions this season, including last week, have lost the game on the opposition's last possession. New Orleans able to pull it out with 1:45 to go last week. Now the 2-minute warning. So we'll take a break. We'll be back in Jacksonville in a moment. Coming up with 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. A 3rd down and 4 for the Jaguars from their 44-yard line. They are leading the Jets 21-17. Brunell in trouble. Able to scramble and then taken down by the left defensive end, Bobby Hamilton.
And because he's sacked, it saves a little more time for the New York Jets because the clock stops until the ball is spotted. Jerry Austin made a quick spot on that when the clock is already running again. But with no timeouts, the Jets are going to have the ball back, and Wayne Corbett has a chance to give him a little bit of field position right here. The wind is blowing slightly against Jacksonville.
And that's the 5th sack of the day for the Jets. Punt by Parker is a short punt. And bounces inside the 35-yard line. Well, coming up next, NBC Sports will have Game 5 of the American League Championship Series. Orioles and the Yankees. Andy Pettit going up against the Orioles' Scott Erickson. Yankees trying to make it 9-0 at Camden Yards in Baltimore, including 2-0 in the playoffs, while the Orioles looking to keep things going. Only a 24-yard punt. So with 1:27 remaining in this fourth quarter, the Jets start out from their 37-yard line. Here's Wright stepping up. And it was caught. Wayne Corbett somehow coming up with the ball. The Jaguars felt that it was short hop.
It was not, though. It was a clean catch, and nobody touched him. All you have to do is touch him if you're the Jaguars. A mental mistake. Cover yourself. Make sure that you let the officials rule on it. That was a clean catch. Nobody knocked him down. He gets right up and go. You know, Paul Brown used to have a saying, the cream always rises to the top in situations like this. Wayne Corbett.
32 yards for Corbett, his 12th catch of the day. 12 receptions, 162 yards. First down at the 31. And here's Wright, nearly intercepted. Dave Thomas had a shot at it. The pass intended for Henry Bailey.
Jacksonville coming up and challenging the receivers. They're not laying back and giving the softer coverage. It's a 4-point difference, so they've got to go for the touchdown. Field goal does no good here. And from New York's standpoint, with no timeouts, they've got to work the sidelines. They can get one more pass in the middle before they got to go to the sideline.
It is a 2nd and 10 at the 31. 1:12 remaining. And Wright throwing for the end zone. Double coverage on Alex Van Dyke. We're down to 1:06 remaining in the fourth quarter. Jets with a 3rd down and 10 at the Jaguar 31-yard line. They are trailing 21-17. Reich is now 23 of 41, 276 yards, picked off twice. He's thrown for 2.
Alex Van Dyke almost made a mistake right there. He should have made sure that ball wasn't intercepted. He ran up a little bit. Can't do it. Rookie mistake.
Now Wright to the sideline, but it sailed over the head of Anderson. It was thrown too high. Well, they were able to execute that successfully on the other side of the field. Same matchup with Richie Anderson working against Eddie Robinson, but the pass went astray, and it brings up a 4th and 10.
It's been their favorite combination, actually. That's the same pattern that Kyle Brady caught the beautiful catch earlier in the ball game. 4th down. Here's the ball game.
They are on their feet in Jacksonville. 4th and 10 with a minute remaining in the fourth. And Wright goes incomplete. Intended for Van Dyke. So the Jaguars will take over. And the Jets, with 57 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, are facing their 7th consecutive loss this year and 11th straight overall.
And on a very crucial play right there, Frank Reich just rushed that pass. That was a deep out pattern. It's a timing throw. He had time to wait on it. Watch that receiver come out of that break a little bit more than that. Not sure that that is the high percentage pass that you want to throw on a 4th down call.
Now the Jets are out of timeouts, and Jacksonville will just run it down. Lots of numbers in terms of the New York Jets, and none of them are good. They will go, unless there is a miraculous play here on the part of Jacksonville, they will go 0-7, 11 straight losses, and very much alive. We talked about this on the pregame show in terms of worst records in NFL history. The 76 Buccaneers 0-14 back in 76. I should mention, Sam, you were not coach of Tampa Bay.
I was just about 11 years old.
Yes. And Rich Kotite, in his last 30 games, shows only 3 victories. That goes back to the 7 straight losses while with the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Jaguars, although managing only 10 first downs for the game, are able